My name is Alem. I'm a co-founder and CEO of FieldLine Medical. This is slightly a change of topic. We're going to go into quantum sensing a little bit. Me and my two co-founders are atomic physicists, and we've spent much of our careers researching, developing, and commercializing quantum sensors for magnetic detection. And these can be used for a variety of applications. But early on, we realized that these are really well suited for detecting the magnetic fields from electrophysiology. And so we started working with a large number of, or several key neuroscientists for validation. We learned two things from that. One, that these quantum sensors really worked well for detecting brain signals. And two, that surprisingly, that this kind of technology is very, very useful for understanding and diagnosing a large number of mental disorders. The motivation for us to start a company was simple. Most of us know at least one or more people who are suffering from some sort of mental health disorder. It is a huge problem and has very little solutions right now, and it's got both gigantic economic and societal impact. The problem is really twofold. One, most neurological disorders are assessed qualitatively. And two, there's just not enough tools to be able to measure brain activity non-invasively and get information in real time. So 5 years ago today, in fact, we started the company to develop a non-invasive system using our quantum sensors for functional imaging. It's important to note that unlike many of the other parts of the body, functional imaging has to do with detecting brain activity in real time, non-invasively, and basically being able to see what the software of the brain is doing. We have a lot of technologies that give us hardware information, but not how the actual brain is functioning or communicating. There are only a handful of technologies out there that can even do functional imaging, and they fall into one of two categories, either ones that are slow but give you really good spatial resolution, or ones that are fast, like EEG, can give real-time data but just give you poor pictures. MEG, in fact, magnetoencephalography, is the only way you can get both. But unlike the other technologies that number into tens of thousands, there's only about 150 MEG systems operating in the world, primarily because they have some severe limitations. These are based on cryogenic sensors. They're very large. They don't allow for movement. They require big shields, and they're very costly. They're kind of a one-size-fits-all. And so it has been, even though it's been around for 20 years, it hasn't really been adopted. Our quantum sensors can really change this by providing the same kind of functionality with better sensitivity in a helmet that you can wear. As you can see, it has a large number of applications or improvements. For example, it's compact and wearable, which means you can put it on children or infants that don't sit still. It doesn't require cryogenics, so there's no upkeep, which is a big problem right now. The form factor requires smaller shields, which means now we can actually put them in every room of every hospital. And more important, one of the most important things is that it's cost effective. You don't have to buy a full head system anymore. You can buy systems that are suitable for different applications that start at a much cheaper price. And this really was enabled by our quantum sensors. These are very compact sensors that we build using MEMS fabrication techniques. This allows us to put a high density of these on a helmet and also make it modular, similar to EEG. That makes most of these benefits possible. We have a number of patents regarding our technology that have been submitted so far. Now, the global brain imaging market is about $32 billion, but the current MEG market is about $100 million. And this has really just been limited by the current technology. The only clinical application for MEG is epilepsy, pre-surgical mapping for epileptic or tumor patients. As you can see from this graph, it's a very small chunk of the total neurological disorder market. And so by just having one or two of these other applications, we can really expand this market by at least 100x or more to about a $10 billion system. Some of the leading applications that are coming out, for example, are traumatic brain injury. If you think about sports or military, that's a huge application. PTSD, detection of autism, and so forth that are coming through for MEG right now. Our business model is fairly standard. We have direct sales of the head scan system. Now these range between $200K and $1.5 million, depending on the configuration. Our gross margin, even at lower volumes, is about 75%. And again, this is enabled by our MEMS fabrication techniques. We also would like to move into a subscription model in the future where we can, shorten the time to the customer and improve the customer experience. Now, the market for our systems are right now research institutions. But as we get our 510K, we would like to move into the clinical and clinics and hospitals and imaging centers. But surprisingly, another market that's developing right now is the wellness centers, which are using MEG for a variety of different applications that are coming out. We started our market strategy by going into the MEG market. We have now moved to the clinical and research market, and in 2024, when we get our FDA, we hope to start our clinical applications. You can see some of the collaborators. We have some of the leading institutions in the world helping us do this. We're on a third-generation system. We have not raised money. All the funding so far has been through non-dilutive grant funding. We've raised about almost $7.6 million, and we have also generated over $3 million in sales revenue. The biggest advantage we have right now is, compared to Megan and CTF, which are two cryogenic systems, is that we can actually lower the cost and have some of these advantages. Oh, sorry, wrong way. Our goal really is to work or partner with a medical device company that's capable of actually helping us support and expand this in the future. I'm one of the 3 people in the company, and I have run out of time, so I'm happy to tell you more about us and the company if you have any questions. We're seeking to raise about $5 million. Thank you. Which one?
Contact information.
Right here.
Is this one? Questions?
Yep, I have a question coming. You mentioned that your device can cost anywhere from $200,000 to $1.5 million, depending on the configuration. Could you give a little more color on how those devices would?
Sure. It's really dependent on the number of sensors. The sensors are the expensive part of the system, and so there are some applications where you don't need to do high-resolution imaging, so you're using it as a diagnostic. You may only need 16 sensors. Others where you need a full head system of high-density sensors is more expensive. And we're able to do that with our system, which you couldn't do in the past.
Got it. Thank you. And one last quick question. So as far as funding goes, from today, how much would be required to successfully get you through the FDA and into the market?
So the primarily reason we're raising funds right now is to actually help us grow the company. We have most of our FDA and regulatory path kind of set with our grants and other funding sales revenue. The money is really to support us for the next 2 years so we can scale our production, expand our team, and be able to.
So your slide mentioned other uses of the sensors as a potential business market. Do you have any examples of that?
I do. So we're actually OEM provided to another company that's using our sensors for magnetocardiography, and they're going through the FDA right now with our sensors. And in the future, you can use the sensors for different applications. So fetal MCG and fetal MEG are kind of next steps where you can actually diagnose fetal development in utero so that you can actually improve quality of life after the child is born. And there's also some applications for muscles and so forth.